Hi. So I recently reinstalled Zero K on my computer, and when I jumped into a match, I noticed quite a few kind of serious bugs where if a new player ran into these bugs, they might be turned off by the game. And so I wanted just to show what these bugs are, and maybe we could figure out a solution for them. And so what this is a new fresh install in the Zero K lobby, and I went ahead and made a match. Let me add a AI to it, and when I click the start, you'll probably see the first issue right away, which is that everything's really blown up. Like you can see in the bottom corner there, what would normally be in the center of the screen's way down there. And so, yeah, I'm only basically able to see the top left corner of the screen, and when the game finishes loading up, you'll see that in better detail.
Command console
Yeah,
activated.
so it looks like this. This is not correct, and if a new person to Zero K saw this, they might think that the game's just bugged and is terrible and might not want to play it. The reason that this is happening, let me exit to desktop. The reason that's happening is because on my computer, I had my display to be duplicating the displays. If I set this to display on 2, this fixes the issue. So when I click the start game now, everything's much better. Everything's centered and it's full screen correctly. So I'm not sure why choosing to duplicate my displays makes everything all wonky, but that's something that should definitely be fixed. However, once this loads up, that'll show the second issue that I ran into, and it was kind of discouraging seeing
Command
two issues in a
console
row,
activated.
and that's now everything's all super white. I don't know why this happens either. I don't have an explanation. The only way that I can fix this is to exit to desktop and then start it again. That's a bug that only happens once, probably after changing the display from duplicating to only showing on display 2. But after I join it again and joining games forever after this point, that weird white outline doesn't happen. But ideally it wouldn't happen at all because it looks very bad.
Command console
Okay,
activated.
so now it looks fine, and I can add someone to the map and start the game. But one thing that I wanted to point out was, and this is probably because of these duplicate displays, I believe, but the map is huge, and it should not be this big by default. And there's a way to fix that in the settings, but before I do, I want to point something out. Right now, if I click B, my radio menu shows up, and that's great, because the radio menu is, in my opinion, the best way to create stuff. However, if I wanted to reset everything to be the default size and everything, I can go into the menu,
Warzone paused.
settings, and HUD presets, and I can click default. That'll make everything perfectly sized and everything's all aligned and everything.
Warzone
However,
active.
there's a problem when I do that, and that's if I click B now, nothing happens. I lost my radio menu. The reason is, for some reason, when I choose the default setting, my gesture menu goes away. So I have to
Warzone
manually
paused.
reselect that. I don't know what other widgets get activated and unactivated when I
Warzone
choose
active.
to choose the default GUI setup.
Warzone paused.
So when I choose this, apparently this turns on some widgets, turns off other widgets, and it turns off radio menus.
Warzone
And I
active.
don't know why that is. That seems like radio menu should be part of the default. So that was the third issue that I ran into within 5 minutes of trying to play one of these games.
Warzone paused. Warzone
The last
active.
thing that I wanted to
Warzone
mention,
paused.
to go back to here, is in the settings. Let's say, for the sake of argument, I choose windowed mode.
Command console activated.
Okay, here's the white weird thing happening again. I don't know why this happens. But what I wanted to point out is now that it's windowed mode, I can do this stuff, which makes sense. It works just how you would expect it to, being able to resize the window to be however size we want. However, two issues arise with this. For one, let's say I go back to borderless. Borderless should be borderless full screen. It should be like kind of like full screen, but it's in a window that's the size of the desktop resolution, which means it should be a borderless window that's size 1920 by 1080. However, this is not the case. When I click Start Now, it creates a borderless window, but it's not the size of my desktop screen. It's just the size of the window that that it was when I closed the game last. And so that's kind of one part that
Command
should
console
be
activated.
fixed. Is borderless windows should be the full size of the monitor, or at least the size that is specified here. And the second thing is, let's say I go to full screen like that, and I click Start. Now it is the full screen. However, this kind of goes back with that incorrect map size that we saw before. When I do this, all of my GUI items, all my GUI objects are going to be placed incorrectly. They're going to be placed as if the window size had not
Command
changed.
console activated.
So you can see everything's up here, kind of like if the window was just right here. And it should go back down here, kind of like as if it was full screen. The only way to fix
Warzone
this,
paused.
again, is to go to Settings, GUI presets, and click Default. But once again, if I do that,
Warzone
that's
active.
going to turn off my gesture menu and who knows however many other widgets.
Warzone active. Warzone paused.
So those are some of the issues that I've noticed that you don't even have to get very far into the game. They're pretty apparent, just even from a new person's perspective. They're going to be negatively affected by all of these bugs, and I think it leaves, unfortunately, a kind of a bad first impression for 0K. So I just wanted to highlight some of these issues, and hopefully we can come up with some fixes. Thank you.